Imagine you're in a crowded city, a tense situation unfolds, and a young boy steps in when no one else will. He could have just walked away, but he didn't. He changed everything in an instant. What if I told you that Barron Trump, yes, Barron Trump, did something heroic in the face of an insult that no one expected? Keep watching, because this is a story that will make you see him in a whole new light. In today's video, we'll explore an incident that most people would never believe. Barron Trump, the quiet and reserved son of Melania and Donald Trump, made a bold stand in defense of a woman who was verbally attacked. But it's more than just an act of bravery. It's a powerful lesson about courage and standing up for what's right, no matter who you are. Stick around as we dive into the shocking story, reveal how Barron Trump became the unlikely hero, and discuss the deeper impact his actions had on the people around him. To truly understand the significance of Barron Trump's actions, we need to look at his background. Barron, the youngest child of former President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump, has largely remained out of the public spotlight. While his parents were at the center of political and media attention, Barron kept a low profile, only occasionally making public appearances. This contrast between his private life and the public persona of his family is crucial to understanding why his actions in this situation were so unexpected and impactful. Growing up in the public eye comes with its challenges, especially for a child. Barron was raised in a world full of scrutiny, with constant media attention on his family. Yet, despite the pressure, he developed a sense of composure and maturity far beyond his years. This incident would highlight just how these experiences shaped him. Think about the times when you've seen a person act out of character, especially when the stakes are high. There's a certain bravery that comes with standing up for others, especially when it means stepping into a confrontation you didn't expect. Barron Trump, who had often been seen as reserved, suddenly found himself in a situation where he had to make a split-second decision. His calm demeanor in the face of tension was not just a reaction. It was a reflection of the strength he had cultivated over the years. This isn't the first time we've seen someone act heroically in unexpected circumstances. Similar moments in history, when quiet individuals have stood up in the face of injustice, often become defining moments for those individuals. For Barron, this moment was no different. A typical walk with his mother turned into a defining moment of courage. Imagine this scene. You're in a bustling, vibrant market, crowds moving in all directions, the hum of conversations, the clinking of coins, and the smell of street food filling the air. Amid the noise, a heated argument breaks out. A man's voice rises above the crowd, his words aimed at a visibly distressed pregnant woman standing nearby. The man's insults are harsh, his anger apparent. Now, imagine Barron, only a few steps away from the chaos, observing the situation. What would you expect him to do? Most people would walk away, but Barron doesn't. He steps forward, ready to act. The tension in the air is palpable, and Barron's next move would surprise everyone. Let's dive into the heart of the story, the moment the insult was thrown and how things escalated. As the pregnant woman stood, trying to navigate through the crowd, the man's insults grew louder and more aggressive. His words weren't just about a minor disagreement. They targeted her appearance, her pregnancy, and ultimately her worth as a person. Imagine the shock and discomfort the woman must have felt. She wasn't just being insulted. She was being humiliated in front of a crowd that largely ignored her distress. It was a cruel moment that could have left her feeling completely powerless. In that charged atmosphere, most people would have been too afraid or indifferent to step in. But Barron Trump wasn't like most people. He had been raised in a family where standing up for others, especially in the face of injustice, was important. The sounds of a busy market fill the background, footsteps, chatter, the occasional honking of a car. But among all the noise, the man's voice cuts through, full of venom, as his insults ring out sharply in the air. You can almost feel the tension building in the scene. But just when things seemed like they couldn't get worse, Barron did something that no one expected, something that would change everything. What did he do? Stay with me, and I'll tell you. Now, let's look at how Barron Trump took matters into his own hands when no one else dared. While the crowd continued to watch, Barron didn't hesitate. With his calm demeanor, he approached the man. Most people might have been intimidated by the man's size and aggressive attitude, but Barron walked up without fear. The words he said were simple but powerful. He told the man to stop. It wasn't just the words, though. It was Barron's presence. He wasn't loud or forceful. He simply made it clear that what the man was doing was unacceptable. The man, caught off guard, momentarily paused. His face showed confusion, as he didn't expect such a reaction from a young boy. Barron's response was a testament to his upbringing. He had been taught to act with kindness, integrity, and courage, no matter the circumstances. This moment wasn't about him showing off or gaining attention. It was about doing the right thing in a difficult situation. The chatter dies down as people begin to take notice. You can hear the sound of Barron's voice, steady and clear, cutting through the tension in the air. The crowd is holding their breath, unsure of what will happen next. But here's the twist. What happened after Barron spoke up left everyone stunned. Did the situation end peacefully? Or did things take an unexpected turn? Let's find out. Now, let's explore the man's reaction to Barron's intervention and how the situation took a dramatic turn. For a brief moment, the man stood frozen, trying to process the fact that this young boy had stood up to him. The crowd was watching, and the tension was thick. But then, something surprising happened. Instead of escalating the situation, the man seemed to pause and rethink his actions. Perhaps it was Barron's calm and composed demeanor that made him stop. Perhaps it was the realization that his actions weren't going unnoticed. Whatever it was, the man took a step back. He looked at Barron, then at the pregnant woman, and for a brief moment, the hostility in the air began to dissipate. Barron didn't demand an apology. He didn't argue or raise his voice. He simply stood there, showing the man that his behavior was wrong. And it worked. The noise of the crowd softens. You can almost feel the collective relief as the man's anger fades, leaving behind a strange sense of calm. There's a pause, a brief, defining silence, before the crowd murmurs, realizing that something remarkable just happened. But while Barron's action defused the situation in the moment, what came next would leave a lasting impression on everyone involved. What did Barron do next to ensure this wouldn't happen again? Let's examine the lasting impact of Barron's actions, not just on the man, but on the people who witnessed it. After the encounter, Barron didn't seek attention. In fact, he and his mother simply continued on their way, as if nothing had happened. But for the crowd, the impact of that moment lingered. Those who had witnessed Barron stepping in, without fear, in defense of someone who was powerless in the situation, were left in awe. Many felt inspired, realizing that sometimes it's the small, quiet moments that have the biggest impact. In the days following, the story spread. People talked about how Barron Trump, known for his quiet nature, had stepped up when it mattered the most. His courage reminded people of the importance of standing up for others, no matter who you are or where you come from. The scene fades as Barron and Melania walk away. The distant murmur of the crowd echoes in the background, but the visuals linger on the faces of the onlookers, some surprised, others deep in thought. But what was the real takeaway from this moment? What can we learn from Barron's heroic action? Let's explore that in the next section. Finally, let's dive into the larger lesson from Barron's heroic act. Barron's decision to step in wasn't just about defending a woman in distress. It was a lesson in standing up for what's right, no matter the circumstance. His bravery showed that heroism doesn't always come in the form of dramatic actions or grand gestures. Sometimes, it's the simple, quiet moments that matter the most. What Barron did that day teaches us that we all have the power to make a difference, no matter our age, background, or the expectations placed on us. It's a reminder that courage isn't just about fighting battles. It's about showing compassion and standing up against wrong, even when it's uncomfortable. As the final moments of the video unfold, the camera lingers on Barron's face, calm yet resolute, as he continues walking forward. The sounds of the city fade into a soft background hum, leaving viewers with a sense of quiet strength. And that's the end of this story, but it's just the beginning of what we can all learn from Barron Trump's actions. What will you do next time you're faced with an opportunity to stand up for what's right? Now, as we reach the climax of this incredible story, everything that has happened so far is about to come together in a way that will leave you reflecting on what true courage really looks like. As Barron stood his ground, there was a turning point, not just in the confrontation, but in how the situation would be remembered. The moment the crowd saw Barron step up, something powerful shifted. It wasn't the typical image we expect of someone in his position. A young man, not yet fully grown, standing tall against a much larger, aggressive figure with nothing but his principles to back him up. That's when it hit everyone. Sometimes the bravest actions come in the quietest moments. Barron didn't shout, didn't create chaos. He simply intervened with the strength of his conviction. His action wasn't just heroic. It was a subtle lesson in the power of standing up for what's right, regardless of who is watching. The man who had been insulting the pregnant woman seemed to finally understand the weight of his actions, as if Barron's calm intervention had peeled away the layers of arrogance that were clouding his judgment. There was no fight, no escalation. What followed was nothing short of a miracle. He apologized. Not just out of fear of the situation, but because, in that moment, the shame of his behavior became undeniable. Barron, with nothing more than his presence, had not only stopped the verbal abuse, but also sparked a change in the heart of the man. The pregnant woman, who had been shaken by the insults, found solace in the fact that someone had stood up for her. She walked away with her dignity intact, as Barron's intervention had restored her faith in kindness and respect. In the end, the entire incident served as a reminder. No one is ever truly powerless when others choose to stand with them. This isn't just a story about Barron Trump. It's a story about the power we all have to make a difference in someone's life. Barron didn't use force. He didn't need to be loud or confrontational. He simply showed up and acted with integrity. And in doing so, he became an example of what it means to be a hero, not in grand gestures, but in quiet acts of courage that ripple through the lives of others. So, as you reflect on this moment, ask yourself, how can you, in your own life, choose to stand up for what's right, no matter the situation? What small act of bravery could change someone's world? Let's take a moment to reflect on the powerful story we just shared. Barron Trump, in a seemingly simple act of standing up for a pregnant woman, displayed extraordinary courage. His intervention didn't just stop an insult, it sparked a change. It showed us that true heroism isn't about physical strength or grand gestures. It's about standing firm for what's right, even when it's uncomfortable. Barron didn't shout or fight back. He simply showed kindness and respect when it was most needed, and in doing so, he became a silent hero. This story isn't just about Barron Trump. It's about the power of standing up for others, of choosing kindness and respect in moments of tension. It's about recognizing that sometimes, the greatest heroes are those who choose to make the world a better place with small, thoughtful actions. So, ask yourself, what kind of difference can you make today? If this story inspired you or made you think differently about the power of standing up for others, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Join us for more stories that remind us all that heroism can come in many forms. See you in the next video.